Well, welcome in, Tyam. We're doing some Witcher 3 here, having some drinks.
Make this.
I hope your day is going well. What political views do you have? Well, I have Swedish political views, because I'm from Sweden. And are you accustomed?
Sails fluttering.
Don't teach your grandma to suck eggs.
Are you accustomed to Swedish politics?
Right, almost there.
Let's see what you wrote here. In my country, they tell me that Swedish people can have sex with cows as long as the judge can't prove it harmed the cow, and that homosexuals can marry. Is this true? Well, the bestiality law is a bit weird and a very hard topic. There have been people who have tried to make the law harder so people can get a jail sentence for the behavior. The thing is, though, that the topic has been so disgusting that the politicians who have tried to change the bestiality law, they were shamed for talking about it. So it was even though he had good intentions to save animals from abuse, so he became disgusting for talking about it, basically. So it was really weird. I've only seen one politician talk about it, and I've seen one case with a guy that raped cows, and the farmer was mad about it. So this was very long time ago, maybe in the late 90s, the rapist that raped cows. So it was one guy doing that, and the police couldn't arrest him because the law didn't allow them to, because of how it was constructed. And it has been hard for people to change the law, the ones who have dared to try to talk about the taboo subject, which is bestiality. So it's a hard topic. So people have a hard time talking about certain topics, and bestiality is one of them. So no one wants to touch the topic because it might harm their political career. So it's a weird law, for sure. It's not weird to question it at all. When it comes to homosexuals, yes, homosexuals can have a marriage in Sweden, and they don't have to do it in a church. They can in Sweden you can marry through the state. So we have a state marriage where you declare your marriage legally, and then you have the church. We also have mosques and Jewish church, whatever they are called, synagogue. So you can marry through those, but you can also marry through the state. So Sweden can marry you. You ask, are you really okay with either of those? That sounds crazy to me, man. Cows and same sex. Well, the animal part is concerning to me. So the thing is that it would be totally unacceptable socially if it came out. So I don't think that there's many people who actually do have sex with the animals, even though they might be able to. But the problem is that you need to prove it, that it's happening. And I think that's the biggest issue. And I think that's why the law is formed the way it is. Because if the animal is actually harmed, you can prove the abuse. So in that regard it's actually good, because you might not be able to prove that a cow got raped, but if it's a smaller animal, if they die or something, at least people who might encounter the person doing that act might find bruises or something, take it to a vet, and from there actually make a working police errand of it. So it's not that it is okay, it's just that we need to prove it to the police. So it's not acceptable, it's just that it's hard to combat. How do we stop them? We need to actually know that they are doing sex with animals, which is like how you need to walk into the barn and see them fucking the cow, and then you need to tell them, hey, you stop, and then they run, and then you need to inspect the cow. Did they have sex with the cow's butt or the cow's pussy? And then you need to find bruising and take pictures or call the police. It's like the whole scenario is crazy. To us too. The thing is that how are we gonna stop them? And how are we going to call the police and prove that it is happening? We need to have a camera when we walk into the barn and see it happening. Basically. And then find bruising. So it's crazy and not okay. Most people in Sweden would agree with you. The problem is how to prove, and you need to catch them in the act. And it need to harm the animal for proof. They hurt them. Animal abuse. So it's not that it's okay. It's hard to prove. And when it comes to homosexuality, it's the same thing there. We don't we don't. They might get social problems with their if they're open homosexuals. But it's acceptable from the state's points of view. So their freedoms are not taken from them, and they're not treated differently from from the law. So it's not the police that would treat them poorly. It's not the judge in a courtroom that would treat them poorly, and they wouldn't get punished for being a homosexual. So there's no punishment in it. But socially, no one has to like that homosexuality is a thing. They might think so, and they might want you to accept them, but you don't have to. So that's the difference with in Sweden. Like, we have a society that accepts homosexuals. But it doesn't mean that you have to be a homosexual, or that you have to think that their love is beautiful. You don't have to think that their love is beautiful. You can think, I think anal sex, no matter if you have it with a female or a man, is a dirty act. That is unhygienic and can cause health issues. And is very problematic for the man. It can give them an infection through the penis to the bladder, and it can also go so high to the kidneys. And if the infection goes to the kidneys, you can have a lethal outcome from your anal sex. And if you lick an asshole, you get bacteria in your mouth that can damage your Your throat. You have an organ in your throat on both sides that can get infected. And that infection can also, in some cases, get unusual, but it can happen that you not only get an infection in your throat, but that it will threaten your health. So, so we try to inform them, you know, and we can't stop them. And we don't want to punish them. It's basically a stance on freedom of the individual, and that we might not like or agree with their chosen way of life, but we don't want to punish them for living their own life. It's their life. I don't have to be homosexual. Yes. The standpoint on the animal sex is that there's no way to confirm that the animal is wanting the sexual act to take place. So it's the same when it comes to other types of animal abuse. The argument is that the animal cannot confirm their involvement in the act. So the problem when you have the problem you have is that it can't speak for its case. It can't tell you it wanted to be in the situation. They can't tell you that they didn't want to be in the situation. So it's when you can prove the damage, it becomes animal abuse. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that you have to prove that you have harmed the animal. So it's about animal abuse. You're abusing the animal. But you have to prove the abuse. I am not arguing that it's okay. I am telling you about Swedish law and how we work to prevent. How do you prevent that in your country? I'm not saying it's okay. I'm talking about how society works to stop the problem. We're not allowing people to have sex with animals. We need to prove that it's happening. We have to prove that. Sweden does not allow it to happen. We just need proof. The thing is that the law is not perfect, is what I'm saying. But it has something the police have to work around. And it's for people not to blame people for acts they have not committed. That's why we have the proof line. Some laws are very, very old, and sometimes they need to be updated with the time that passes. But as I said from the beginning, it's a very taboo subject, so it's very hard for politicians to dare to talk about it. So it's not that we allow it or think that it's okay. We just need some way to work with the problem as a society. One thing that I've also thought about, Tian, is that it's getting harder to prove things with the pictures and videotapes now. Because you have, in Hollywood, they have had the ability to make computer animated people that looks real. So these people are, they look like real people, but they're not there. They're computer animated. We also have this new technology, AI, where you can create pictures and video from pictures of people.